Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever felt like the life you want, like really, really want, is just stuck behind something you can't seem to do? Like deep down, you know what the move is, the call you've been avoiding, the truth you've been sitting on, the bold shift you've been thinking about for months. But every time you get close, you seem to pull back. Every time it gets real, you find a reason to simply wait. Here's the hard truth. Everything you want is behind the fear you're dodging. Not some of it, not half, all of it. Welcome back to Hard Truths, the podcast that doesn't sugarcoat anything. We talk about the things you feel but don't say. The stuff you know in your gut but haven't put into words yet. So today, we're talking about fear. Not the kind that protects you, the kind that owns you. So let's go deeper. All right. So here's what most people get wrong about fear, okay? Fear doesn't mean you're weak. Now, before you go and jump at me and say, hey, I feel weak, it honestly just means you're near the edge of change, okay? See, your brain, it's built for protection, not progress. So when something feels uncertain, unfamiliar, or even emotionally risky, your amygdala lights up and floods your body with cortisol. Like someone pulled the fire alarm in your brain and suddenly every system in your body is on high alert, scanning for the danger that isn't even real yet. And here's the kicker, okay? When we encounter change or challenge, your brain doesn't sit back and go, is this aligned with my values and goals? Nope. It just asks, have I done this before? And did I fucking survive last time? So, you think about starting a new chapter? You think about saying what you actually feel? You think about setting a boundary? Your brain literally freaks out. But that fear, okay, that's not a sign to stop. That's a signal, a compass. That is your GPS. Fear shows you the edge of who you currently are and what's possible on the other side. Think about a time you were going to make a career move. For example, right? A new job. You kind of get stunned. You're like asking so many questions in your mind, right? That fear, you damn well know on the other side of that job, you're looking for a job for a reason, right? That other side of the job is going to give you so much more success, so much more, money, so much more happiness. But you freeze. You're wondering all these other things. So instead of running from fear, what you need to do is lean into it. See, what if instead of pulling away, you just got curious and said, why does this scare me so much? What would happen if I just moved through it? Because when fear shows up, that's your cue that something real is waiting. That's your cue to push through. So let's transition from fear to what happens when we dodge it, okay? See, avoidance is seductive. It's sneaky. It makes you feel like you've bought time. But in reality, you've just delayed your life. So here's the hard part to hear, okay? Every time you avoid something that matters, you teach your nervous system that fear is in charge. And that quiet little habit, it starts to write your history for you. You avoid a hard conversation, and suddenly all conflict feels paralyzing. See, I recall a time when I had a new manager shift, and she was in her proving phase, so to say. So she poked and probed at everyone's work. And I didn't want to have those conversations. So as I kept hiding from those conversations, I found myself slowly never really speaking up. See, when you avoid speaking up once, now your voice feels foreign. You avoid risk, and suddenly your life is built out of limitations instead of possibilities. So, avoidance is the most subtle form of self sabotage because it doesn't blow things up in a dramatic scene. It just makes you slowly disappear from your own life. And you see, over time, you start convincing yourself that you're just tired or burnt out or not ready yet. But deep down, you know it's fear. You just don't want to face the cost. Okay, so let's connect the dots with science for a second. In cognitive behavioral therapy, there's this core loop. It goes thought leads to emotion, emotion leads to action, action leads to reinforced belief. It goes like this. You think, I'm not ready. You feel anxious, uncertain, small. You act by avoiding, procrastinating, and distracting. And the result? You reinforce the belief. See, I'm not someone who can handle this. That is what you would say to yourself. And that's how identity gets shaped. You don't just feel fear. You start to become the kind of person who avoids fear. But there's hope. See, CBT also teaches us that every loop can be interrupted with what's called a disconfirming behavior, an action that contradicts the belief. So even if your brain says, don't do it, you do it anyways. You say, screw it. Even if you feel anxious, you still take one step. And even if you feel unsure, you speak anyways. That's how you retrain the loop. That's how you teach your mind, we're not running anymore. Let me get personal here, because I've had this exact cycle. I used to dodge putting my full self out there, not the curated, clean version, but the messy, raw, honest voice that actually had something to say. And honestly, I was scared. I was scared of being misunderstood. I was scared of judgment, or worse, I was scared of being ignored. So, I did what so many of us do. I overprepared. I called it strategy. I polished and delayed and polished some more. Does it sound familiar? But that was just avoidance in disguise. And it was costing me not just time or progress, but connection with myself. Until one day, I stopped rehearsing. I just pressed record and I said it exactly how it came out. You see that moment? It didn't just launch this podcast. It broke the damn pattern. Fear didn't vanish, but it lost its grip. And that's where freedom started. Here's something powerful. Your brain isn't just scared. It's trainable. Every time you face fear and take action, especially action with emotion behind it, you fire off a signal along a very specific neural pathway. And guess what? Your body wraps that pathway in myelin. Myelin is this incredible biological substance that acts like insulation for your neurons. You see, the more myelin, the stronger and faster your brain transmits that behavior. That's why repeated action makes things easier. That's why discipline starts to feel more natural over time. So when we say confidence is built and not born, that is what we mean. Confidence is myelin, and you only need to earn it by doing the reps. See, walk through the fire enough times, and eventually, your nervous system stops flinching. So, all right, now it's your turn. You've heard the breakdown. You understand the science. But knowledge without action? Just another form of avoidance. So here's your challenge. Pick one thing, just one, that you've been avoiding. Name it out loud. Don't hide it. If you're in your car, scream it, yell it. I don't care. I always love seeing the crazy guy or girl in their car screaming or singing. So you're helping the world. Then take one small action towards it. One message, one truth, one shift. And don't wait until you're ready. You won't be. Do it because you're tired of fear making the rules. Do it because you're done outsourcing your identity to a reflex. Move before your mind takes you out of it again. And look, I don't believe you're broken. I don't believe you're lazy. I do believe you're just stuck in a loop you haven't challenged. And the version of you who takes the leap, who stops delaying and starts deciding, they're not some future dream. They're already inside you. So give yourself a chance to meet them. Not in theory, but in action. Let them see the proof. See everything you want? It's behind the thing you've been avoiding. Not a little, all of it. Tag me at Danny Livin, DANNYLYVIN, and tell me what fire you're walking into this week. This is Hard Truths. Until next time, don't wait, don't dodge, do the damn thing. Take care.